Hello everyone and welcome back to Meakashi. So, according to where we last left off, I was reading through this smudge diary tip. So, from what I remember from the smudge diary tip, it takes back on the perspective of Satoshi. Well, he was trying to comfort Satoko because of her, I think it's of her crazy ass, it's either a crazy ass aunt or uncle or some shit like that. So it kind of reminds me of chapter 3 of some sort. But yeah, let's continue. See what we got here. It's a very quiet afternoon as always. Since I can't go outside as myself, I have to match schedules with Mion when I go shopping. I've gotten used to it by now, so it's no longer a hassle. Because of this, I naturally had to buy things in bulk. Today I shuttled between shops and my home. I got this, I got that. Oh wait, isn't it a 100 yen sale day today? I forgot this. Being in a good mood, I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow! What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave it a kick with no hesitation. Oh shit. There were 3 motorcycles lined up there in a row. It's gonna be fucking dominoes. It's gonna go out bad. They all fell like dominoes. Yep, called it. It was a beautiful sight. This is fun, I thought. Being in such a good mood made me leave my guard down. I didn't realize that the owners of the motorcycles were right nearby. They looked pretty scary. They grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. Then they called me all kinds of names. Everything was happening too quickly for me to grasp what was going on. The fuck are you, bitch? What do you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitch. Gotta pay for what you did. Whoa, they can't really talk properly. I didn't have a clue what they were saying. I had to translate their alien tongue into normal human words in order to understand. We are very upset because you knocked down our motorcycles. You should immediately pay for the repair and compensation. Yeah, that was probably it. That's our offer. What do you say? We'd be happy to listen to your opinion. Something like that? Huh? What in the... sorry. I don't think I can continue interpreting. Huh? What you saying? I know what they're trying to say, but somebody has to warn them about the way they park their motorcycles. It wouldn't be fair to those who obey the rules if there were no punishment for those who disobey them. This is an accident, but it must also be God's will. But God, you can use me to punish these guys, but how will you compensate me later? I heaved a huge sigh. Of course, I wasn't afraid of this situation at all, because it wasn't a dangerous one for me. These 3 guys were yelling at the top of their lungs at a girl. They didn't look good at doing it, and they had too many disadvantages. First, there was the differences in gender and the number of people. If I did something wrong, as men shouting at a woman, it didn't make them look like they were in the right. Added to that, there were 3 of them. It looked like it was going to get violent. Second, the location. Taking a girl into a dark, narrow alleyway is already a bad idea. And on top of that, they're asking for money, not just an apology. Of course. No kidding on that one. Thanks to these fats, the public will be on my side. So this was a fight they couldn't possibly win. I always get the feeling that the music doesn't... I either can't hear the music well in the video or something around the line. Okay. Somewhere around there. So this was a fight they couldn't possibly win. The only way for them to win would be to take my money before somebody finds out. Considering that, taking me into this narrow, secluded alleyway might have been a smart move, since fewer people will find out about this situation. Huh? You listening or not? I knew how slim their chances of winning were. From the very beginning, they had picked the wrong girl. I'm Mion Sanazaki now. It'd be foolish to mug her in Okonomiya. Soon enough, the people of Hinamizawa would notice me and gather around. They don't spare mercy for their enemies no matter what. The punks didn't know this area well. If they did, they'd have known how silly it was to rob Meon. Plus, the alleyway isn't always as empty as they assumed. This side street is a shortcut which local people frequently use on their way home. In the late afternoon, many people would be passing through here. That time had almost arrived. If I held off a little longer, the street would soon be filled with people. Then the punks would have to go away. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wait in order to win. This was a simple fight like that. While they could hurl abusive language at me or lift me up by my collar, they weren't actually going to resort to violence. Cheers to the educational system for ingraining the ladies first mindset. But as a wicked person, I wanted to toy with them a bit, even though I could win this by waiting. I wanted to paint them as even more villainous and drive them into a corner that would be even harder to talk their way out of. That demonic desire was rearing its horns. To put it plainly, I'd only need to act as the poor, helpless victim a little further. Like the pathetic, pitiful, tragic heroine everyone wants to sympathize with. In a case like this, I shouldn't start crying immediately because they'd get nervous and draw back. If it were a truly threatening situation, that would work, but I needed something different here. I'd pretend to be strong at first. In fact, I thought, maybe why don't I challenge them? And eventually, I start trembling. My voice would fade and I'd get tears in my eyes. It'd be even better if I played the role of a strong girl who's slowly giving into fear. Meon and I are probably the only ones who are capable of pulling that kind of stuff off. Well, I'm probably better than her. Oh, why don't you let me go now? I already apologized. I talked back with a little hesitation. Am I getting tears yet? Yes. By the way, I've heard men can't shed tears on command. I feel sorry for them. The three punks faltered a bit due to my sudden change in attitude, but they soon started yelling at me again. I had to keep it going. That way they'd blatantly look like they're picking on a helpless girl. Please, forgive me. Heck. Oh. What you doing? What's with this girl, huh? I don't huff. Oh. Maybe you should apologize like that from the start. It looked like they were laying off a bit. Did I overdo it a little? It'd be boring if they let me go now. At that moment... Cut it out. Don't you see you're crying? Stop it. A boy around my age appeared. He was skinny. He looked weak. He looked younger than he probably was. He also looked smart. He bravely glared at the punks. What the hell? Who the fuck are ye? Back the fuck off. Rah! The punks turned away from me to face the boy instead. The boy looked a bit agitated when the punks started yelling at them. They sure were ruthless, but the boy must have known that from the beginning. He must have known that he was going into a dangerous situation, yet he didn't hesitate. Fucking say something. Why don't you answer us? Holy shit, your English is so bad. No words. He must have wanted to shout back at them, but he probably never used that kind of language in his life, so he couldn't have expressed his feelings out loud. He might have not even known what to say, so he just kept on glaring at them, to let them know that he wasn't going anywhere. The three punks, though, might have thought he was just lost. Might have thought he was just lost for words in his fear. But I knew different. The boy was overpowering them with nothing but his will. The punks were losing, so they resorted to violence. They grabbed him and knocked him down. They hit, kicked, and tossed him around. It looked painful, but I knew. It was his victory. In the end, local passersby stopped the punks. They made no further fuss and just went away. The boy stood up. He was covered in dust. Oh look, it's a good old Satoshi. He smiled when our eyes met and asked me if I was alright. He didn't look particularly okay himself though. How could you step into a fight you obviously couldn't win? Pick your opponents better next time. I hesitated at first. He laughed, saying that he was watching from the beginning. That meant he had the option to walk away, but instead he worked up the courage and stepped in. That was reckless, not brave. Hmm, you're being a little harsh, Mion. You should at least say thank you. I saw you crying. No, I wasn't crying. That was just an act. Okay, okay. Hey, you don't believe me, do you? Do you really think I cry? No, nobody believed Mia Sonozaki would cry when punks bullied her. Why are you laughing? You really don't believe that was an act? I never cry. I believe you, I do. Oh boy. Really? Fucking Satoshi realized that Shion is actually Mion. I mean, Shion disguising as Mion, I mean. What the fuck? I always get confused when it comes to twins. The hell is this shit? I realized one thing. He must be one of Sis's friends. He didn't seem to realize that I'm her twin. He thought I was Mion with a different hairstyle. See, that shit got me confused. Mion and I had to live separately before we went to elementary school. Mion was in Hinamizawa, and I was in Okonomiya. I lived in a totally different environment from her, so it's not strange that people don't know me. Actually, only very few people know I exist. I almost told him that I'm not Mion, but I managed to stop myself. Shion shouldn't be here. He's from Hinamizawa. It wouldn't be good if he thought he saw a Mion look-alike in Okonomiya. So I had to act like Mion. Dealing with him could be more difficult than handling those punks. Well, I was just relieved because he seemed to have a girly side after all. You sound hostile. What exactly do you mean by that? I thought you'd kick those guys' butts with some crazy martial arts. Okay, I'll just say kick those guys' asses. So I was really surprised when you just started crying. Hey, like I said, I was acting. Weren't you listening at all? He gently put his hand on top of my head and stroked it, as if stroking a kitten. I could remember somebody doing that to me when I was little, but it had been quite a while since somebody stroked my head. I didn't know what to do. Why did it make me so embarrassed? My face reddened all at once. I couldn't say anything. Oh, maybe Satoshi has a crush on Shion. I would imagine that shit. I couldn't say anything. Hey, are you making fun of me? I stuttered in embarrassment. He looked calm, as if he was used to doing this. Whatever. Aren't you glad, though? Glad? What do you mean? Well, you didn't get hurt. He smiled while he kept stroking my head. His smile looked divine. He wasn't going to stay for long. He had already saved me from those guys, after all. Well, I need to be going, so I should head off now. Okay. I wanted to go through all the steps of meeting someone for the first time, but he didn't. As far as he was concerned, he had just saved a friend from danger and wanted to leave quickly to avoid seeming pretentious. He and Mion must be friends who knew each other well, so I couldn't bring myself to ask, "What's your name?" Mion's friend smiled once again. His smile looked as refreshing as a clear blue sky. That's Satoshi, though. Well, Shion hasn't figured out his name yet, so okay. Clear blue sky. This time he smiled a bit mischievously. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody you were crying. Well, nobody would believe it if I told them anyway. Nobody would ever believe that our invincible class president cried. He patted the dust off his butt, and once again, he walked back to the sunny main road, away from the dark alley. Then he turned around. See you. In school tomorrow, I mean. Yeah, see you in school. He disappeared into the brightly lit street. Aw, he didn't even get it. She didn't even ask him for it. His number. Shit. Disappeared into the brightly lit street. I continued to sit in the gloomy alleyway. I could no longer see him. I was just staring absent-mindedly at the bright light. That was the first time I met Satoshi-kun. Huh. Oh boy. I'm not even allowed to walk freely under the sun. I met a boy on the sunny day. How come a perverse girl like me fell in love with his innocence? Notebook, page 5. That must be Satoshi. He looks like what you described, and he has a habit of stroking people's heads. Uh-huh. His name is Satoshi-kun, eh? The boy from earlier is called Satoshi Hojo-kun. Or, that's Satoko's brother, from what I suppose. Mion said that he's always daydreaming. Mion said that he's always daydreaming, so she didn't believe that he saved me at first. His little sister is always kicking his butt. Uh-huh. He has a little sister? Yeah, her name is Satoko. I already know that. She's funny and shrewd, but is quick to cry when she's cornered. She's fun to watch, but things have been rough for her lately, so she's feeling a bit down. Her sister came up naturally in the conversation. I tried to suck up every scrap of information about Satoshi-kun. Why? Why am I trying to ask so much about him? As I asked myself that, the feeling I got when he struck my head came back to me. I must have been blushing. Hello? Shion? Sorry. I'm here. I'm listening. To start, I hear Satoko's on bad terms with her aunt. Satoshi's mature, so he knows how to conduct himself, but when bad things happen, Satoko really lets herself go. I know how that goes. What Sis told me was very interesting. She told me that the parents of Satoshi-kun and his little sister are dead. His little sister, oh geez. Parents of... Who is the little sister? That's my question. Satoshi-kun and Satoko are now living with their uncle and aunt. They don't seem like very respectable people. They're always fighting, and the uncle is cheating on the aunt. Oh boy. He mostly lives with his mistress. Satoshi-kun and Satoko entered into that unwelcome environment. What surprises me the most is the fact that Satoshi-kun's parents were the Hojo couple who were the leaders of the pro-dam activists. That fact must have added something to the situation. I don't know what kind of stance the uncle and aunt took during the dam conflict, but they must have taken some indirect blows. Satoshi-kun's parents died after bothering them so much, and even left them for their children. The uncle and aunt obviously can't love those kids. Well, this is a horrible household. Things have gotten worse this past year too. Women can be really nasty bullies. That really depends. Sometimes it doesn't matter who they're bullying, even if it's a kid. On top of that, women tend to care less about priority than men. As a result, Satoko seems exhausted with it all. I can imagine Satoshi-kun bravely protecting his little sister. Just like when he saved me. So he must be exhausted too, right? Huh. He must be covering for Satoko all the time. So wouldn't you normally assume that he's also feeling worn out? Well, I don't know. I said something wrong? Mion sounded a bit taken aback. So that meant Mion can't tell how he's feeling, because he's always wearing that blank look, so she never considered it. How can she be that insensitive even though she's around him all the time? I was amazed to realize that. Well, anyway, what does he usually do? He looks smart, so does he read a lot of books? Yeah, you're right, he likes to read. He's not reading, what's it called? I continue asking about him. About what he likes, dislikes, and what he thinks about. I asked Sis all these questions because I wanted to know more about him. It was the first time I had ever been that interested in somebody. I didn't want to admit that I had feelings for that. Did I fall in love just because of a stroke on the head? Am I stupid or what? Nah, that just shows how much true love you have. When I remember the feeling of his hand on my head, my heart feels tingly. As in generic romantic comedies of some sort. I tried doing it myself, but I didn't feel the same. I'm stupid. What am I doing stroking my own head? So on. Says, I'm done for... I became stupid. What? Why are you laughing in that weird voice? You wouldn't understand these feelings, sis. When would I see him again? I felt as if my suffocating life had finally grown brighter. Oh boy, there's more brighter like the usual. The life I lived really was beginning to suffocate me. I couldn't go out freely, and I always had to make arrangements with Mion before going to work. I thought my life would improve after escaping from the school, but in reality it wasn't that easy. It's not healthy to live like this for too long. Without any friends to hang out with, I felt like I was hibernating. I started to feel the dangers of falling into boredom. All I could think of now was Satoshi Hojokun's face. I only met him briefly, but my encounter with him had a great impact on my new life. I felt like something exciting was going to happen. Really, I was hyped up like a little kid. The more I thought about it, I realized I'd been thinking about him a lot lately. This might be a crush. I felt a little ridiculous idolizing him in such a romantic way, though. Then, out of the blue, I got a chance to see him again. Oh? I saw a familiar face at twilight in the park. He was sitting on the swing. He looked like he was zoning out. He may be deep in thought. He didn't notice me even though I was right in front of him. I reminded myself to speak and act like Mion before talking to him. Hey, what are you doing here? Mion, you surprised me. You don't look surprised. I've been standing here for a couple of minutes now. Didn't you notice me just now? Have you? Sorry, I didn't. He smiled self-derisively and shrugged. He looked depressed, like something was troubling him. Is something bugging you? You can talk to me if you want. Maybe I can help. No, that's okay. Come on, I owe you one from before, Satoshi-kun. Or maybe, you don't think this old man can be of any help? Don't you know how mighty I am? I'm okay. You don't have to help me. Huh. What is it then? Are you saying that you don't need help from a girl? Thinking him unfair, I puffed up my cheeks in a sulky gesture. Satoshi-kun noticed that and smiled. No, Mion, it's just I messed up my swing when they needed me the most. I mentally rifled through all the information about Satoshi-kun that Sis had given me. He doesn't look like much of an athlete, but apparently Satoshi-kun belongs to a junior baseball team. They're called the Hinamizawa Fighters. Well, I already know that from the 3rd chapter. I thought he's very skilled, since I didn't hear much about his contributions to the team. Maybe that's why he doesn't tell many people that he's a member. Given how down he felt as a result of messing up, though, he must be fairly dedicated. I deduced all that from what Sis told me and carefully chose my words so as to sound like her. What? Are you feeling down just because of that? Hey, it's not that easy to get over, Mion. I pat his back while chuckling. Satoshi-kun would probably call me insensitive. I knew I should listen to him rather than trying to cheer him up. Acting like Sis was probably the wrong thing to do in this case, but I had no choice. This was just how she'd react in this situation. Instead of feeling down, you should practice even harder and aim for your chance, you know? Practice makes perfect here. Well, if you want to beat the opposing pitcher so badly you're willing to pull some tricks, then I might be able to help you in a few ways. There's no point if I cheat. Satoshi-kun hung his head after letting his regrets out with a big sigh. Surrender, defeat, resignation were all visible in that gesture of his. Are you quick to give up or persistent? If you're a man, then don't you want to be a star and have your 15 minutes of fame? Satoshi-kun grinned and said yes. Of course, that'd be wonderful, but that's not why I play baseball. I just have fun batting and throwing the ball. You can understand that, right? This old man isn't sure. I only love games that I can win. I don't understand how you can love something when you can't be the best of it at it. mm. This really sounds like you, Mion. Having realized that I'm trying to make him feel better, he laughed along. He didn't look depressed anymore. I guess he was just feeling down because of the game. He wasn't as depressed as I thought. Maybe I just jumped to conclusions when I saw him sitting alone in the park. You always put forth your best effort to win. That's admirable, I think. Yeah, it definitely is. He smiled gently and stood up. Then he started stroking my head. All of a sudden, I totally wasn't prepared for that. Whoa. I thought this when he did this last time, but how can he stroke somebody's head so easily? I felt like I had turned into a little kid. Memories from kindergarten came to mind. My face must have been red. I felt embarrassed, but also like I was in heaven. Well, here's your heaven now. Satoshi couldn't stroke me as though petting a cat. I was blushing with my eyes closed. I felt helpless, like a girl being treated by the dentist with her mouth open and her eyes shut. Satoshi didn't seem to notice my feelings at all. He didn't seem to care. I hate him. With my eyes still closed, I waited for him to finish. He suddenly withdrew his hand. I need to get going. My aunt wants some stuff, so I had to go grocery shopping. Oh boy, you're a bitch of an aunt. Oh, and I definitely know how this goes. Okay. My voice faltered. I was so embarrassed. I'm going shopping, too. What? You are? I thought the maids did all your household stuff. Shoot, I messed up. In the main Sonozaki house, the maids do everything. Therefore, Mion hardly goes grocery shopping, and she's bragged to some people about that. I should have known better. Still, it wouldn't be too hard to find an excuse. I just happened to be in town, so I thought I'd help out with the household stuff. Is that a problem? That doesn't sound like you. You always avoid doing boring stuff like that. You talk too much. Oh, stop stroking my head. Satoshi seemed to be having fun with how embarrassed I get when he patted me. Anyway, I managed to talk my way out of it. He didn't seem to really care about the details. Alright. While walking with Satoshi-kun in the shopping district of Kami Ishiki, it suddenly occurred to me. Why had I messed up? I know Mion would never go grocery shopping. What an amateurish mistake. Did I make that mistake when I was pretending to be Mion? No, I was probably speaking as Shion. I couldn't keep lying to myself. I had to just admit. It was simply because I wanted to spend as much time with Satoshi-kun as possible. It was easy to see why I was so attracted to him. I'd found something intriguing in my boring life, and I didn't have to feel tense because he thought I was somebody else, etc., etc. His easygoing nature made him fun to be around, and his habit of petting people on the head was fun too. From these symptoms, I could tell I was embracing the feeling of love. Of course, romantic comedy in the very beginning of this Higurashi. I was just casually enjoying that feeling. It wasn't that I fell in love with him. I was just having fun. I can simply spend some fun time with Satoshi-kun without having to think too much. Which one is broccoli? The green one or the yellow one? That's cauliflower, Satoshi-kun. Hey, could it be that you can't tell lettuce from cabbage either? I'm not that bad. I'm doing my best here. Oh god. I can't even tell the fucking difference. Satoshi-kun stared at the heaps of broccoli and cauliflower. After thinking for a while, you reached out for the wrong one. That's not it. Watching you shop is like being on a roller coaster. It's a lot of fun for me, though. Got me. Satoshi can't tell the difference either. Which is broccoli and which one is cauliflower. Oh my god, this is like a couple chapters ago that shit happens. You guys are too funny. Sis had told me that Satoshi was a flaky big brother to his nagging little sister. I hadn't met Satoko, but she must be having a tough time dealing with Satoshi-kun. He stumbles over everything he buys, after all. That's cooking salt. It's mixed with pepper. It's It's different from regular salt. Oh, is it? I think I saw salt and pepper separate in the science experiment once. Stop making excuses and put it back on the shelf. This is normal salt. What are you getting next? Oh boy, and then dawn hits. You're being a great help, Meon. You look smart, but you have serious issues. I think you should study more. That's a little harsh. There. Is this it? In it goes. What the fuck happened? That's not it. Don't just throw anything in the basket. Check the price and how many servings it is first. My first impression of Satoshi-kun was that he was strong and reliable. But the more I spoke to him, the more surprised I was at how clumsy and unreliable he was. How do I put it? It was hard to leave him alone. He was dangerous on his own. Yeah, he's like... It's like he has no sense of direction whatsoever. Like, what the fuck, man? What is this shit? He was dangerous on his own. Yeah, no shit. If he wasn't careful, he might start wondering, do you cross the street when the light is red? Oh my god. Fucking... It's obvious. When the light is red, or was it green? And get himself run over by a dump truck. Sweat drop. Yeah, we don't need to hear that shit. Your total is 1,780 yen. Do you have a member's card? Huh? Oh yes, I do. Where is it? Oh sorry, we can't seem to find it, so we'll be alright for today. I finished checking out, ignoring Satoshi-kun as he fished through his wallet full of receipts. That was horrible, Meon. You made me waste points. Don't go slowly fishing through your wallet to look for your member's card in the middle of the evening shopping rush. There was a huge line behind us. Didn't you notice all the evil glares from all the old ladies? Listen, at times like that, you should get it out before reaching the register. Oh fucking hell. Normally it happens in every fucking retail store or grocery store or whatever shit. Especially at work. Fuck Jesus. Oh, right. That's good to know. It's not only when you go shopping, the same thing goes for when you ride a bus. Satoshi-kun, I bet you don't open your wallet and start looking for change while you're about to get off and have to pay while holding up everyone behind you. No, everyone walks by me and pays their own fare. Yeah, right. You know what that means? You're being a super huge bother to everyone. You need to have the money out beforehand. That's just good manners. Do you get it? Okay, you're scary today, Meon. Nah, she's not scary. She's giving you advice. There is a difference, you know. Oh my god. Why am I... Satoshi-kun smiled as if patronizing me. I couldn't believe it. He was definitely the type who made women want to protect him. Sure, he was fine as he was when he had a busy body like me around him, but I couldn't stop worrying whether he was able to function in society without someone like that nearby. We got plastic bags and sorted out what we bought. Satoshi-kun put a pack of tofu at the bottom of the bag. I slapped his hand and put in a milk carton instead. Okay, there we go. Now your aunt won't freak out when she opens this shopping bag in her kitchen. Thanks. You helped me a lot. I don't think I'm very good at shopping. Just shopping? That's definitely not the only thing. Just kidding. Wait a second. Milk. I'm guessing this little reference right there is like, you don't put fucking, I don't know. It's something to do with fucking eggs. You don't put like fucking, heavy shit on top of fragile. I don't know how fucking bagging works. I had realized a few things while I was spending time with him today. He's not just bad at shopping. He's not just as bad at shopping, he's also chronically clumsy. In general, you could call him a slow thinker. That meant When he stepped into the quarrel with the punks, he must have needed a lot of courage. Yeah, he definitely needs balls for that shit. He might be a simpleton, but he's not stupid. He's aware of his weaknesses, so he must have been aware of the danger in that situation. He could have chosen to walk away even though I was in trouble, but he chose to be a man and stepped in. That was really admirable of him. Good boy. You did a great job. There. What is it? Don't stroke my head. I'm rewarding you for shopping successfully today. There. You're making fun of me, aren't you, Mion? Oh my god, it's the other way around. Holy shit. No, I'm not. Can you go home by yourself? Do you know how to get there? You are making fun of me. Satoshi-kun's sulky face blushed red. He's just too cute. At that point, I caught a glimpse of the billboard from the corner of my eye. Piano lessons. Call something. Abacus class. Junior baseball team members wanted. It was a posting for the team Satoshi-kun belonged to. It showed the day, time, and place of their next practice. By then, I knew how just flaky he was. I figured he must be in just the same when playing baseball. Satoshi-kun realized that I was reading the posting. He looked uncomfortable and walked away. I know what you're thinking. I hope you won't come to see me playing baseball, Mion. Am I right? What does that mumbling mean? I know I'm right. Satoshi-kun became quiet after mumbling something. What the hell are you even mumbling for? It seemed like you couldn't say anything back since I had been right on the money. Satoshi-kun, you're just too cute. I don't think going silent is a good way to dodge the issue. Well, that might have just been the way innocent people like him would react in a situation like that. See you, Satoshi-kun. It's getting dark, so be careful on your way back. Aren't you going home, Mion? To Hinamizawa? I had to make a stop somewhere first. Don't worry about me. I'll help you this time. In return. I'm okay. What are you going to help me with anyway? You should learn to support yourself before you try to help me. You're really mean today. You seem to have some pride at least. He looked a bit upset because he was teased by a girl, but in contrast, I felt very satisfied. As a result, I forgot to keep my guard up. Thank you for the help. That was sweet of you. Whoa. While wearing a bright smile, Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head again. Oh man. Now I know how it feels when these two struck their heads to each other. Ooh boy. I know this is a lot of headpats involved. I know he's teasing me, but oh, I can't reject him. He keeps doing it only because he's realized I won't resist. Oh. See you, Mion. You should go home before it gets dark. See you in school tomorrow. Yeah. See you in school tomorrow too. In fact, I wouldn't see him tomorrow at all. It felt awkward, but I had to settle for that. I had to thank Sis for letting me use her name. After I separated from him, I found myself giddy and wishing to see him again as soon as possible. I wanted to know more about him. I couldn't wait for my next chance to see him. Actually, maybe there was something I could do. Just like when I obtained my freedom from St. Lucius. I could choose how to live my life. Whatever. It wasn't that complicated. I just wanted to tease him more. I wanted to stroke my head more. And, whatever. Oh, I know. Oh, God, I know what you're thinking. I already knew the schedule for his baseball team. And, well, that ended there, it seems. You have received new tip, a crumpled diary. Man, this chapter, you can complete this shit in a half an hour. God damn. A hopeless pair. But yeah, aside of all the background noise, I apologize. Because, I had someone, sorting the fucking laundry out. But yeah, let's read the tips. A crumpled diary. Yeah, let's read that. And then I'll end it there. My aunt finally stopped her hysterical screaming. I said streaming. I meant to say screaming. My aunt finally stopped her hysterical screaming. Today was just like any other day. I can't remember what set her off, whatever it was. She changed subjects constantly anyway. It didn't matter. She went on past midnight again. The urge to sleep was pounding the back of my head. Once Satoko had been able to relax, she fell down on the spot and started sleeping, still clinging to my sleeve. I carried Satoko to the bedroom and laid out our futons. Here, Satoko, your futon is ready, so get in, okay? Satoko crawled in like a worm. She stopped moving once she was inside. I wish I could go to bed too, but I couldn't. My aunt asked me to do some chores. I had to get toothpaste after school tomorrow. I had to write it down somewhere. I had to make rice for lunch tomorrow. I set the timer. Right, I also had to repile the towels in the bathroom. That was the reason for today's scolding. My aunt will get mad if everything isn't done the way she wants. Damn, that's a shitload of fucking chores. That's a fucking shitty-ass household you got there. Holy shit. I've seen way horrible households than this shit. I mean, oh fucking hell. But yeah, leave something in the comments box to explain how your household went. Because I kind of wonder why. I was like, I want to know how this shit goes. Because I was reading this shit, man, this fucking diary right here. My aunt will get mad if anything is the one day she wants. Okay, anyway. Oh, and there was something else. I was working at the grocery store the next day. They wanted me to bring an apron. Did we even have an apron in this house? I never seen one. What the fuck did they do with the apron? Did they took a shit on it? My aunt will be sleeping or did they use a fucking apron as a blanket? I don't fucking know. My aunt will be sleeping when I go to school, so I won't have time to ask her. What should I do? Since Mion helped me get that job, I don't want to screw it up. In that case, why don't I ask Mion about it at school? She might lend me one. Good idea. Was there anything else? I was envious of Satoko because she got to go to bed. It was pathetic that I felt that way. And that pretty much ends that tip then. Alright. End of chapter 3 is settled. So, next part we're going to move on to the 4th chapter or part 4 of Meakashi. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Have a good day.